We left off talking about sleep disorders. So we went over insomnia, narcolepsy, and then we have sleep apnea that we talked about. And so this one, it can be dangerous because we talked about how a person with it can stop breathing for like up to a minute. And that can be pretty dangerous because they're not getting oxygen. Also, these people tend to have a constant feeling just being really tired when they wake up in the morning. And so we talked about how you go down the levels of sleep, right? You go stage 1, 2, 3, and then you go to REM sleep, and then you need a lot of REM. You need like 20% of your night in it, and then you go and jump around the stages. But deep sleep's really important, and so is REM sleep. But if you stop breathing during the night, when you go and snore yourself awake, you go back up to stage 1 and have to go 1, 2, 3 REM. But if you keep not being able to breathe and waking yourself up, you're not getting any of that deep sleep or that REM sleep. So that's going to make you feel really, really tired all the time, and it can cut like years of your life off. So, like I said, a lot of the time it's older people who are overweight, but like my kid had it. He had it when he was like a year or two old, and he had to get his tonsils taken out because they were huge and blocking his airway. And so a lot of the time with this, for people with it, they'll just put a CPAP mask on that kind of like has this flow of oxygen. So that helps them breathe, and there's not going to be like a cessation of breath anymore. And then night terrors. It's when a person looks highly aroused or like fearful almost. So the idea is like often kids have this. You don't see a lot of adults with it. But a kid with night terrors, they might like scream. They'll look wide awake. You'll go in, or maybe they've like walked out of bed and their eyes are wide open and they just are scared, or maybe they're screaming and they're not really. It's not a nightmare. So night terror is just this highly physically aroused state, and usually happens around stage 3. So it's really, really deep sleep when this happens. And when they wake up in the morning, they don't remember it ever happened. They have no clue. They're not actually scared of anything. You just kind of like have to walk them back to bed, try to calm them down and get them to fall back asleep, and then moving on. Kids have it, like I said, more than anyone. Now, in class, students often get night terrors and nightmares confused. So night terror, during stage 3, not related to anything you're dreaming or thinking about. It's just this physical reaction where they look scared. A nightmare, on the other hand, is a very vivid dream. So if it's a very vivid dream that's just scary, it's just a vivid dream that you don't like the content of. Vivid dreams happen in REM sleep. So those really, really scary nightmares you have, that's a REM sleep thing. It is just a dream. We just call it a nightmare because it's a bad dream. So instead of a nightmare, think of like bad dreams and good dreams. And then night terror is an actual like sleep disorder. Sleep disorders, they also have them. So sleepwalking is an example. I can't ever think of the name of it. And then there's one on the sheet you'll fill out too that some people don't have the reaction where their body shuts down from the neck down at REM. And so they actually act out their dreams. Where they'll like be running or hitting or something in REM sleep because their brain didn't get the notion to shut down. A lot of people will bring up sleep paralysis during this unit, and so from what I've seen, I am no expert in it at all, but what it looks like when I've watched some of the videos or read about it is the fact that when we talked about REM sleep, how you're paralyzed from the neck down, what happens is in REM sleep you dream, and in REM you're paralyzed from the neck down. You can't move. So what seems to happen is when somebody has a episode of sleep paralysis, it's that you're cognitively awake from REM sleep. Like from your neck up, you're awake. You are there, you're conscious, you're no longer sleeping, but it's kind of like your spine hasn't gotten that message yet, and so you're still paralyzed from the neck down. And so that's why you lay there and you can't move your body in some regard. And some people even maybe hallucinate because they're still in that like twilight kind of not sleep thing, where it's like they've woken up maybe out of REM sleep is what the kind of guess is. And since their body is not getting the signals of, hey, I'm awake, open up that spinal cord again so I can start moving, listen to my motor cortex, it's frozen, and it can last several minutes. So sleep paralysis is something that kids always want to talk about. There's some good YouTube videos. I'll try to find a solid like scientific explanation of it to some regard and post that for you guys to watch if you're interested. Nothing on our test will be about sleep paralysis. Okay, so do dreams mean anything? Why do we have dreams? What's the purpose? Do they help, hinder, whatever? So Freud is one of the first people that studied dreams. We talked about dream interpretation and this idea of you coming up with the manifest content. So what did you dream about last night? You tell your doctor, your Freud here, and whatever you dreamt about, that's the manifest content. And then his job would be to find the latent content, which is the hidden meaning. What are all the symbols in this dream? Why did you have this dream? What is it trying to tell you about your unconscious mind, right? So, honestly, dreams were more likely to incorporate previous days' experiences or thoughts, and that's what we dream about. It's not always like an unconscious, hidden, secret thing. If you were worrying about something yesterday, yeah, maybe you dreamt about it. So people often ask, well, I don't ever remember my dreams. I don't remember anything. We don't remember anything that happens about 5 minutes before we actually fall asleep. So let's say you woke up in the middle of the night, like you had this dream, you woke up and you were panicked about it for a moment, and then you fell back asleep and you slept for 4 more hours. By the time you wake up 4 more hours, you'll be like, I remember waking up, but I don't remember what my dream was. I just remember I didn't wake up and I didn't like it. It seems like if you just woke up for a moment and fell back asleep, you weren't awake long enough to like process it, to think about it, to like commit it to memory, and so your brain doesn't remember it. So purposes of dreams. One could be satisfying wishes. It's the idea that there's this latent content that's there, this secret hidden meaning, and it's trying to make us achieve or get what we can't talk about, what we can't think about, what we can't have in real life, but we unconsciously desire. The thing is, that's very open to interpretation, and there's not a lot of scientific support for the unconscious mind. So it's a possibility, but lacking science. Could be to file away memories. So we sift, sort, and fix the day's experiences. Everything you did for the day, that you want to keep, you have to file away in your filing cabinets in your brain. And with my slow wave and REM sleep, I can do that better. I can consolidate those memories. And so, yeah, that's nice. And maybe that's why we dream about things that we experienced or we heard or we thought about or people we saw that day. Because we're just filing away the memories and these pictures are kind of popping up in our sleep. But the question is, if that's true, then why do we have dreams about things that have never happened to us or aren't related to anything we've experienced or watched or whatever? Well, maybe dreams help preserve and develop neural pathways. So REM is this period of intense brain activity. And it's periodic, right? Like 10 minutes and then it goes away and then it comes back for 10 minutes. And so maybe this brain stimulation that it's giving off is helping preserve neural pathways, and it's creating all these changes in our brains. But if that was true, why do they have meaning then if it's just like, oh, it's static in our brain and they're doing these things? Maybe because it's neural static, our brain says, oh, I don't like chaos, so I'm going to make something out of it. So this is the activation synthesis. It's the idea that we have all these neural activities going on during this REM sleep, or even any stage of sleep, but especially REM sleep. There's all this activity and all this electricity cruising through our brain, and instead of our brain just having all these random firings going on, our brains organize it to make something out of it, and maybe that's how we create a dream. The thing is, we're not sure. We have no idea. We don't know why we need sleep. We don't need to know why we dream. We just know we do both of them. And there has to be some reason behind it, but no one is definitively certain on it. So we're just kind of coming up with these ideas. So if it's neurostatic and our brain's just trying to make something of it to make like a storyline, what about the stories that our brain creates tell us about an individual? So like, how is it random if it's telling me about my life or something? It's not just random pictures popping up and me trying to like piece them together in a storyboard. What about if dreams also reflect cognitive development? Different age ranges differ in how they dream. So like a 9-year-old dreams in slides, like a PowerPoint, like here's the slide in the picture and maybe some narration. Then here's the next slide in the picture. But as we age, we dream like in a movie just playing out in our heads. So maybe dreams are also a reflection about how we organize our thoughts, how we view the world, just how our brains work depending on how cognitively developed we are. So there's a lot of unanswered questions about all of this stuff. So that's where I leave you. Like I said, Mandy Rice I left her videos on our weekly schedule. She does a better job of probably going over some more type things, like altered states and stuff. So she'd be worth a view if you had some questions about it or were struggling with the worksheets or didn't understand what this book was saying. I'm obviously a source you can use. I just don't have any notes to go over it. Like I said, this unit is really small. You have a take-home test that you have a full day to do on Monday. So, I mean, it's a cool chapter. It's a really fun one. I wish we could spend more time on it, but we don't have the time and we don't have the push to do it because, AP exam, it's 2 to 4% of the test, which means there's not a lot of questions about this stuff. So, all right. Let me know if you have any questions about this stuff as you do it. Remember, the chapter officially begins on Friday, but you can start it whenever. And then it will end on Monday. So Friday, over the weekend, you have a chance to do that packet that you were given before we went on our extended break, before we went on spring break. And then Monday, I will post the test. So Monday, you need to send me snapshots of all the pictures in a file and share it with me or email it to me or post. Actually, I'll have you post it. And then your next thing will be the test, and then we're done with this unit. It's really, really short. So please let me know if you have questions or you're struggling with something, and I will be more than happy to help you. And my cat is going to close this video out.